Last time. There's a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I went through the first 3 generations of Pokemon names and put them in a tier list based on how good they sound, how well thought out their origins are, how clear they explain the Pokemon they're attached to, what educational value they have, and more. And this time we'll do the same for generations 4, 5, and 6. Turtwig. There's an extra subtle little cool bit about Turtwig because on the surface it's Turtwig. It's a turtle with a twig on its head, you know? But it eventually becomes grass ground type, right? Meaning it has to do with dirt. Yeah, it's better. It's a great name. Grottle. A grove turtle. It's fine. It's fine. Torterra, a tortoise with terrain on its back. Yeah, it works. Chimchar, a chimp that chars things. Chimchar. I can't really fault it, but it's not really great. Monferno and Infernape. They both use the word Inferno in their names, but then one ends with ape and the other begins with monkey. Interesting choice there. So like Monferno, totally fine. It works. Infernape though, it is not an ape. It's a monkey. Those are different things. Monkeys have tails. Apes do not have tails. Infernape has a stinking tail. Confusing. Piplup. So like if you know a bit about bird anatomy, it's fine because a pip, from memory of course, a pip is the like, when the egg cracks open, the bird inside is using the pip of its beak. And then plup is just the sound it makes when it walks. It's cute. It's a really cute name and I like it. It's original. It doesn't really explain what it is though. Plup sounds like it could be the sound of like a drop of rain falling into a puddle, but I don't know. As much as Piplup is probably my favorite starter Pokemon still, its name is just, it's a Pokemon name. It works. Prinplup just gets confusing though because like it's the Plup again, but I guess it's a prince. I don't know. I don't really like it. Empoleon, even more confusing. Why is it named after Napoleon Bonaparte? There's actually no reason. What does he have to do with penguins? This dude has more to do with Neptune and Triton and those kinds of dudes. Poseidon, that's the name I'm looking for. If they had somehow mixed Poseidon with penguin, Poseiguin, or something, that would probably have been better. It sounds bad now, but what if it was always named Poseiguin? No one would say, oh, you know what's a better name for Poseiguin? Empoleon. No one's gonna say that. It's uninspired. It's more flawed than it is good. Starly, the Starling, uninspired. Staravia, at least, you know, it's a starling and it's avian, meaning bird. So like, it's a step up. Same with Staraptor. It's a starling that's also a raptor, or a bird of prey. So, yeah, better than many. Bidoof. It's a doofus. It's a beaver, a mountain beaver specifically. They're the beavers without the tails. I don't remember the word. A chidoof, a chidoof. Something. I'll put it on screen. I'll look it up later. But it's like an old-fashioned well. So there's your water. So like it works. It's cute. It's original. People remember it. It's better than many, but flawed? Or is it a great name? I'm gonna say Bidoof is a great name. The barrel, though, like a barrel holds water. Okay. Is it barrel shaped? I think I'm gonna just knock it down 1 tier from Bidoof. Cricketot. A little tot? It's a cricket. It works. Cricketoon works better. I like it more. Shinx. Really cool things they did with the Shinx line in terms of its name. Because like it's a lynx, so there's an X in it, and the line has X-ray vision, so there's another X in it, and so this is like a shiny lynx. Shinx! And it also sounds like it's Shinx, because it's gonna shinx you with its claws, which are full of electricity, which itself goes shinx. Right? It's really good. It's a great name. Luxio. Luxio, it's got luscious locks. It's not a lion, so there's no reason for it to have Leo. I know it's L-I-O, but still, I'm gonna just say it works. No, I'm gonna say it's confusing because it is not a lion. And Luxray. The cool thing about Lux is it's Latin for light, and like X-rays themselves are just a spectrum of light we can't normally see, so we have machines that see it for us. And a ray is like, you know, it's an X-ray ray. It's a beam. Electricity could be described as a ray. You got like a super weapon power ray. It's with electricity, and I'm over explaining it. It's a great name. Bidoo. It's a bud. It likes dew. He's a cute little guy. Badoo, badoo, badoo. Badoo, 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 ba ba. Badoo, 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 ba ba, da ba. Badoo, 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 badoo. Except do makes you think it might be water type, so it's flawed. But it's better than many, but it's flawed. It's not water type. Roserade. Roserade, though. It's a rose with a masquerade mask with like the fancy hair and the fancy bouquets because they're gonna go masquerade partying. Yeah, it's good. Where did Roselia wind up being? Where did Roselia wind up being? Okay, can't find it. Moving on. Cranidos. It's gonna dose you with its cranium. But actually, dose. I think that's just part of the dinosaur name. Or not, because it's mainly a Pachycephalosaurus. And like there's like the Hogwartsia Rex or something like that is similar to it also. That also doesn't have dose. It is cool that it teaches the word cranium though. So I'll bump it up one tier to it works. Rampardos. Again, the dose is kind of confusing. I guess there are dinosaurs with dose in the name, even if Pachycephalosaurus is not one of them. Or any of the other dinosaurs I remember it pulling from. It is cool that it contains rampart though, because on the one hand, ram, because it literally rams into things, but also it teaches the word rampart, which is, to my memory, a medieval ramming weapon, or it's a defense against ramming weapons. Rampart. No, it's these things. When castle walls do this stuff. It's the spikes of a castle wall, you could say. So I'm actually gonna bump that up one more tier. Well, no, because the dose. I'm gonna keep it down as it works. Yeah, it just works. Shield on. It's got a shield on. Bit uninspired. Bastiodon. This is a name that I'm sure confused plenty of children. Especially ones that know a few crude words like, why is this Dawn a bastard? But no, it's a bastion. The dawn of the bastion. Bastion dinosaur. Bastion being the like front-facing part of a castle. Hence its shield having like window, castle wall, moat design on it. Like anyone who knows what a bastion is immediately going to understand, oh, this is a very defensive Pokemon. And actually, with that in mind, Ramparts, turns out, aren't the things that damage the walls. It's a part of the walls, or like it's the spiky parts on the top of walls. So that's also a defensive thing, but this guy is like the most attacky of attacker Pokemon ever. So I'm gonna actually drop it down to confusing. Barmy. It's just a little diminutive for a worm, a bagworm. You just take bagworm, you mix it up, put a Y at the end because it's cute and small. Yeah, it works. Wormadam and Mothim. You see what they did there? It's because one is only female and the other one is only male. So it's Wormadam and Mothim. Honestly, smart. And you could say, this is a stretch, but you could say the armor on Wormadam is like a dam holding back the water. Except instead of holding back water, it's holding back her rage. Mothim, I'll also say, is better than Mini, but I feel like that might change. Combi, or Combi. I actually don't know which way it's officially pronounced. I've always said Combi, but I've been wrong plenty of times when it comes to pronunciations. But it is a honeycomb bee, so it works. Vespiquen. You hear the quen, you understand that that's just a shortening of queen. Vespa, Vespe. You go, what is that? What does that mean? And is it? Oh, it means bee, scientifically, I think, or hornet, or wasp. One of those. It's like the Latin word for those kinds of animals, which it is. And in being a royal queen, it using Latin is genius, because monarchies are old-fashioned like that. And also, a lot of times the nobles and the higher-ups in nobility and all that would be speaking Latin because it makes them feel better than their peasants, which speak like, I don't know, German or English or something, blah. It's a great name, especially for that educational value. Pachirisu is... I mean, it teaches a bit of Japanese. It's another one of those Pokemon that hasn't had its name changed in other languages. It's the Japanese name for most. And I couldn't tell you. I think it probably, if I had to guess, Pachirisu. It probably just means electric squirrel, honestly. Looking it up. Yeah, it's Risu is squirrel and Pachi Pachi is the sound of electricity going Pachi Pachi Pachi. Yeah, it works. Buizel, the buoyant weasel. I like how it's got a tiny bit of educational value. What is buoyancy? Oh, it's when the thing is a flotation device, which it has. Wait, is this one Buizel? Oh gosh. It's Buizel and this is a whole new challenge now. Buizel and Floatzel. Right, okay. I'm pretty sure these are, it's in that order too. Buizel and then Floatzel, right? It's not, I mean, it has that Z. Z has a cool factor. Floatzel, Floatzel. It sounds a bit weird though, coming off the tongue. Floatzel, Floatzel, Floatzel. And it's not as cool of a word. Like, everyone knows float. When something floats, it floats. Buoyancy though, that's an educational word. So where did I put Buizel? There, yeah. We'll put Floatzel and it works. Cherubi. I don't actually remember why it's got Ruby in the name. Maybe it just ends in I because it's cute. You know, because it's small and childlike. Because it's just cherries. Yeah, Cherubi. It's better than it just being named like Duo Cherry or something, you know? Cherim. I cherish Cherim. Cherim? I think I'm gonna drop it down to uninspired or confusing. Cherim. Cherubim? It wouldn't be cherubim. It has nothing to do with angels. Shellos, it's a shell loss. It lost its shell. And I think it's called that because these Pokemon are like super ancient. I have a video from years ago about how Shellos is older than Arceus. But in real life, these are like super ancient creatures also. And from memory again, so I might be wrong here, they started off with the shell, and over time certain species evolved to no longer have like a snail shell or shell on the inside. So it literally, Shellos lost its tail. Tail? Its shell. So there's educational value. It doesn't really explain what it is besides it doesn't have a shell. And you know, not having a shell that can describe a lot of Pokemon. You could name freaking Blossom here, Shellos, and it would be correct. But in having lost a shell, like, okay. Gastrodon though, it's a gastropod. Where the heck? It would be on the top. I don't know why I scrolled so far. It's a gastropod, which I believe is just the scientific name for snails and slugs and stuff. And it's the Dawn of them, the master, the leader of the bunch. You know him well. I'm gonna say it's better than Mini. Again, for that delicious educational value, and also it sounds like a weird, squishy, gross thing, right? Gastrodon. I don't know, gas in the name just makes it seem gross. Because gas is gross.
Oh, I'm a Gastrodon. My name just sounds icky, right?
Ambipom. It's just bad. Okay, no. Looks and design. Gotta put my biases aside for this. Ambipom. It's got the palms again, like iPalm. And it's ambidextrous with them. Ambipom. And also Ambi. It reminds me of like how a lot of monkey characters, like I from Monkey Ball, has that I suffix in it, or prefix. Ambipom. It also sounds fun. Ambipom. What is wrong? I look like this, but my name is fine at least. I'm gonna say it's better than Mini, actually, because education sounds fun Pokemon, as long as you close your eyes. Drifloon, a drifting balloon. It works. Driftblim, a drifting blimp. It's a hot air balloon. Are hot air balloons technically blimps? I gotta look that up. Google says they aren't, and for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna go with that. Uninspired, confusing. Nah, it's just bad. You already did the drift suffix with the previous form, and it's not a blimp. It's a hot air balloon. Bunnery, it's a bunny that's kind of eerie. Not in a spooky way, though. I mean, unless you're intimidated by... it itself is eerie, as in it has ears. But, Bunnery. Bunnery sounds like it could be the name of a cute ghost. Right? Lopunny, though, a lop-eared bunny. A Playboy bunny. With lops. It works. Mismagius. Like Misdreavus, there's educational value. It sounds mysterious because there's like big words. Mismagius. It's got like a witch hat because it's a mage now. It sounds magical and ethereal. Honestly, it's really good. It is a great name. Honchkrow. Honestly genius, right? Because it's the head honcho. Because it's not a henchman anymore. It's the head honcho. It's the mob boss. It's the leader of the mafia of crows.
Man, I'm a honch crow, see?
You literally just take the word honcho, which itself I think is technically a slang term for like the leader of a gang, and you just add a letter to it. Two letters to it to make it Honch Crow. Perfect. That is a perfect name. I do often wonder if like, coming up with a really good name for your design is a part of why some designs become Pokemon and other designs get scrapped and are just left in the beta. Like, maybe they just couldn't come up with a good name for it, you know? Glammeow. A glamorous meow. It works. Purr ugly. Yeah, it purrs because it's a cat. It's an ugly cat, and it's pretty ugly, right? So there's that one extra layer, making it better than many. Chingling! That's just the sound it makes, right? Chingling, jingling, stunky. Sounds cute. It's funky, because skunk funk, and it smells so bad it's gonna stun you with paralysis. It's good. It's real good. It's better. Skun Tank, though. I always want to say it's Stun Tank. Is it Stun Tank? I might be doubting my own memory. Hang on. Okay, yes, it is Skunk Tank, because it's a skunk and it is a tank. In multiple definitions, I think. Kinda. It sort of fits the tank role, just in that its HP is its highest stat, but otherwise it's kind of balanced, just from what I remember. But unlike skunks themselves shooting their smelly juices from their butt, this Pokemon shoots it from the tip of its tail, which is on top. It's long, it's pointing forward, literally like a military tank. But it is also a tank of skunk smell. So it's at least two or three definitions of tank in there, and it's a skunk who will stun you with stinky smells. So we'll just also say it's better than many because of that. Bronzor, that just sounds like the makeup thing. You know, it's just bronzer, but at least it's kind of mixing like bronze and mirror because it's a mirror. That always confused me as a kid. It has to do with like ancient Asian mirrors being made of polished bronze, but now it's an ancient artifact itself, so it's like it's turned blue, like the Statue of Liberty. I'm gonna say it's better. Same with Bronzong, because same deal. It's bronze, but it's a bronze bell because of the mythology surrounding it and everything. And bells, really big bells, they go dong, dong, dong. Bonsly! I actually really like the name Bonsly, even if I've heard people pronounce it as Bonsley, so there's a little bit of pronunciation confusion in there. I don't think that hurts it too much though, because it's a sly bonsai tree. You know, it's small. Its body even has the little pot shape, including the hole on the bottom, like mini clay pots. It's because it's a tiny bonsai tree, but it's a fake bonsai tree because it's petrified wood, because it's rock type. It's not grass, and that's what makes it sly, right? That is a great name, Mime Jr. Where did I put Mr. Mime? Yeah, just get in there. Happini or Happini or Happy. I've heard a lot of like confusion of how to say it, so it's not that great. Yeah, it's just a little confusing. Chatot chats a lot. The name kind of makes it sound like a basic Pokemon, which I mean it technically is, but like that would imply that it grows up. You know, like it's a tot, so it hasn't grown up yet, but it literally doesn't evolve. So yeah, I would have preferred a name that incorporated music somehow, because it literally has a music note head and like the metronome. That's what they're called. The like metronome beeper for its tail. So something musical would have been better, but I'm not judging these based on a name could be better. Wait, that's kind of literally what I am doing actually. I'm gonna say a bit uninspired. It chats a lot because it's a parrot. Wow. Spiritomb. It sounds spooky because it is spooky. It's an entombed spirit. That is better than many. Could be better than just kind of two words that share a first and last letter, you know? Gibble, Gabite, and Garchomp. I really like how all of their names are just kind of it bites. But like, it sounds cool, and like as the line evolves, it gets more intimidating, you know? Gibble, it's gonna gobble, it's gonna nibble. Gabite, it's gonna bite you. That's a bit more intimidating. And then you gab, you're like, what is that? Oh, Japan is that. Gaburi means bite in Japanese, so it is kind of just bite. But like, it's just a bit more intimidating. And then Garchomp. What is scarier than being bit? It's being chomped, because that implies full on. And then Gar, it's gonna gar you. That sounds even scarier. Plus it's the biggest. It's gargantuan because it's a big land shark. And guess what ancient Greek is for shark? I have to look it up, I don't remember. Carcharius. So Garchomp. Boom. That is, Garchomp is a beyond perfect name. The other two, I think I'm gonna put one tier lower because they are great names, but it is no Garchomp. You know, because like Tiny Bite in another kind of tiny bite, and then bite, and then bite in a different language. That doesn't... Raticate here could be named Gibble, you know? Nothing about those first two names inherently say they are sharks or land sharks or dinosaurs at all. Garchomp at least has a little bit of that ancient Greek for shark. So, yeah. Munchlax. Like the Gabite line, it munches on things a lot, and it relaxes. It's kind of iconic. You understand immediately everything about it. Yeah, I think that's also going to be a great name. Riolu and Lucario. I am so conflicted on these two because, there's a lot of like prerequisite knowledge you need to understand those names. But it's cool that they have the, you know what, should I explain them? Yeah, I'm going to say Riolu is a great name and Lucario is a beyond perfect name. Because there's so much like cool in-game, in-universe lore behind Lucario. It had its own movie because it's a cool Pokemon and they want you to know that. And so they gave it a really cool name to back that up. It's like, so Orichalcum is a mythical super metal, you know, with like spiritual properties. Kind of like how this Pokemon is steel type and it itself has like aura sensing spiritual properties. But you take Orichalcum and you say it backwards, you don't get Lucario. Because first you need to take Orichalcum and write it out in Japanese. Where Japanese characters aren't just single sounds like English letters. No, they're like pairs. One Japanese character is the equivalent of 2-ish English letters. So you write out Orichalcum in Japanese, reverse the order of it, and then read that in English. And you get Lucario. And Riolu is just a shortening of that. Because, again, Japanese R's and L's are very similarly pronounced. Yeah, that's really cool. A part of me thinks there should be more Pokemon with names that are that deep and thought out, but at the same time, that is kind of what just makes Lucario special, which it kind of deserves to be special. It's a fan favorite. They marketed it a ton. I think of all of the Gen 4 Pokemon, it's the one with the most staying power. Probably just because of furries, but Hippopotas, it's a hippopotamus. This one confused me for a long time until I randomly learned about potash, which is like fertilizer. It's stuff that you put in pots. I mean, it has that hole on its back and its nostrils look like the tops of clay pots. So that's cool. It's educational. I mean, it taught me something and not even all that long ago. So, it works. I would bump it up, but I'm not. Hippowdon, though, it is going to go one higher than Hippopotas. Actually, I'm gonna bump Hippopotas down. You know, this here potass. No one who knows anything about that from its name. Like, what do you get from the name? Oh, it's a hippopotamus. That's better than a lot of Pokemon names, but it's not that great. Hippowdon, though. Okay, hippo powder, as in all the sand, the rock powder that it has going all over the place. Dawn, because it's the big leader of the bunch. The name just evokes power, because you already associate hippopotamus with power. Did you know hippopotamus kill more people than most predators? They don't even eat people. They're just defensive and aggressive. Skorupi. It is ultimately just scorpion, but diminutive. It sounds small and cute. It works. Drapion. This one, okay, so it ends with Eon because Scorpion, Drapion, because dragon? That's what I get from it. And honestly, looking at the design, if you told me this was a weird dragon, I would believe you. But it's not. It's poison dark type. It is an ogre scorpion. Why is it Drapion? And also pronunciation confusion. I have heard Drapion, I have heard Drapion. I couldn't tell you which is right. So I'm gonna say it's confusing, because it is. It is confusing. Why is it named that? What good does that... Drastic? Dragon? Drape? It has nothing to do with drapes. The curtains don't even match. I'm just gonna drop it down. Yeah, it's just bad. It is beyond confusing. It is bad. It doesn't even sound cool. Drapion. It sounds like it should be a fabric ghost. Ooh, I'm Drapion. Croagunk. It's poison type, so it's gunky. It lives in swamps. It croaks. It's a frog. Yeah, it works. Toxicroak sounds really cool. I'll give it that. It is just kind of the word croak after the word toxic, though. So it works. Carnivine, it's a carnivorous plant with vines. That's carnifine. Oh gosh. So Luminion. Finneon. Yeah, Finneon. You're never gonna guess where the fin and neon come from. Yeah, it's the word fin because it's a fish, and neon because it's got neon colors. Not neon lights though, unless it does. I know it becomes bioluminescent later on. But anyway, Finneon, it works. Luminion I like because it is bioluminescent, and that's an educational thing, you know? How many kids, when they're really small, you say, oh, it's bioluminescent, it's Luminion. You know, kids don't just know that. It continues with the neon from the previous stage. Lumens are how you measure brightness. You know, I might bump it up. Luminion. It's fun to say. Yeah, I'll keep it there. We're going based off of vibes, remember. Let me know how much you disagree with each of my choices down in the comments. Make sure they're individual comments. Mantike. It's a manta that is a tyke, a little baby manta ray. Yeah, it works. Snover? I actually really like the name Snover because it's snow, cover. It's covered in snow, snover, but also snow over, I think is a term. Oh, it's not a term. Okay. It's just snow cover, but then, yeah. So, it works. It works. Obama Snow. Obama! Oh! Literally the abominable snowman, but a tree. Obama Snow. If there was something in there that implied tree, I would bump it up. But as it is, it just works. Weavile. It's a weasel, but it's a vile weasel. That name sounds cool. It gets across what it is, a vile weasel. Weavile. Yeah. Magnezone. The word zone was also really cool in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Welcome to the cool zone, the fun zone. It also always had this like faint sci-fi vibe, or like Area 51 top secret stuff. And you know, being a UFO, that's very fitting. And like there is a thing called the magnetic zone. I think that's how you evolve it actually. So better than many. Licky. I assume that you assume that I'm going to rate it poorly, but actually, so like it's a silly guy. It's a silly little goose, a silly little like macaroni goblin, right? So a name like Licky, that fits really well, especially considering, you know, it's Japanese roots, as in it's a Pokemon. A lot of Japanese words are just the same syllable twice, you know, gero, doki, things like that. So Licky, honestly, for what it is, it's a great name. I'm tempted to put it in S tier, honestly, but I'm resisting because I don't have a reason, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Hang on, why not S tier? Licky. You think Licky, you're like, what else could it possibly be besides something that is just a giant tongue? Or looks like a tongue. Actually, yeah, S tier. That is a beyond perfect name for that creature. Say what you will about the design, but I doubt anyone could come up with a name for this Pokemon that is better than Licky. Rhyperior. A superior rhino is like how it reads at first, but there's actually a lot more to it, which is enough to make me bump it up into a great name. Because there's like Hyperion, which is like an ancient Greek titan of the earth, which, I mean, it's a really big Pokemon, and it's got all this rock ground power, you know? And also, if you look up Rhyolite, it's a real rock that actually kind of resembles it. Like, people say this guy is ugly, and that's because he is. But if you just look at what Rhyolite looks like, you know? Like, it's this dark brown with these weird orange blocks in it. Rhyperior's over here, and it's weird brown with these weird orange blocks in it. Genius direction to take a Pokemon. Shame it looks like that though. Tangrowth. Man, Tangrowth was always my favorite of the evolutions that they added in Gen 4, but it never got love until now with Pokopia, and I'm so happy. As a name though, yeah, Tangrowth. It's a growth of tangles. Where did I end up putting Tangela? Yeah, also in it works, because it just works. It works. Electivire. I'm a bit conflicted on this one, because like, Electabuzz definitely sounds cooler, and it's a great name. Electivire does sound like an upgrade to an Electabuzz, right? Because a buzz of electricity is just bzzz, but a vire, as in wire, because it's got those tails now that are themselves wires, but also like vire. It sounds vile. It sounds mean and aggressive, like Electivire, you know? Big. An electrical fire. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the same tier. It's a great name. Magmortar, I mean, as an evolution of Magmar, that name works. On its own, if this name was just standalone, I don't know actually. I might Magmortar. I like how they combined mortar with magma. A mortar is literally the kind of cannon that its arms are. I think I am gonna say it's a great name. Magmortar. Togekiss. Why? I don't know, man. Spike Kiss. What if they did a name that somehow implied its angelic roots or its fairiness? I know fairy type wasn't a thing yet, but it still itself is a fairy, so I don't know. The name Togekiss doesn't really get across what it is besides nice. You hear Togekiss, you think, oh, is that a weird Smoochum evolution? Yanmega. You understand it immediately. It's an upgrade of Yanma. It's the Mega Yanma. Let's see if I remember. It's only been a day. Yanma is literally Japanese for large dragonfly. So it's kind of just mega large dragonfly now, which is a bit uninspired. But Meganura? Looking that up. Meganura. Yeah, these things. Meganura were the like super huge dragonflies that are extinct today, thankfully. Oh gosh. So it is one step up from Yanma. Where did I end up putting Yanma? Yeah, and it's just bad. Okay, so I will put Yanmega. It works? I mean, technically, even these uninspired ones work if you really get into it. But no, but the Meganura, that's like literally, okay, yeah, we'll just leave it there. It works. It's much better than Yanma. Leafeon and Glaceon. You won't be confusing what types those names belong to. They're the Eevees, so they're the Eon, Leafeon. Yeah, it works. It works well. Oh, this little freak now. Is it Glisser? Is it Gliscor? Gliscor sounds really dumb, but so does Glisser, honestly. So like Gliscor, without knowing that it's this Pokemon, I would assume it's like some kind of epic arcade gamer guy. Maybe like a possessed arcade machine. It's a ghost electric type, you know? Gliscor! The G comes from ghost, and then it's all about its high scores. It's Gliscor! But then Glisser. You're like, Glisser. Like, a sir, a fancy man, a sir who glides. At least you're getting the glide across with that. But no, it's like glide scissor because its claws are like scissors. Like Scizor, I guess. It's a gliding Scizor. I'm gonna put it in confusing. Mamoswine has mammorees because it's a mammal. But actually, it's a mammoth. But it's not just a mammoth because it doesn't have the trunk, it has a pig nose. It's swine. It works. The name, unfortunately, doesn't really get across its typing. Other than, I guess, the association of mammoths with the Ice Age. And so there's that one logic jump to get ice. But it works. Porygon Z or Porygon Z. So I put Porygon in It's Just Bad. I put Porygon 2 in Uninspired or Confusing because of that number 2 at least like bumped it up in the creativity factor. Porygon Z, though, I think I'm gonna bump up to It Works. By this point in time, when they introduced this Pokemon, Porygon was kind of iconic because it's been around since Gen 1 and it's very unique. But the idea behind it being a Z instead of a 3 is so smart. So I mentioned that Porygon 2 doesn't have the space between it and 2 because old computer systems couldn't really have spaces. But Porygon Z, you get it by basically corrupting the data file that is Porygon 2. And a Z just looks like a corrupted 2, right? Plus Zs are cool, so it works. Gallade is a guardian with a gallant blade. How many of you knew what the word gallant meant before this Pokemon, right? I'm gonna go ahead and say it's better than Mini. Probopass. Again, is it Probopass or Probopus? It's not Probopus. Technically it should be Probopus, but it's not Probopus. But just because compass. It's not a compass, it's compass. But Probo comes from its giant nose, a proboscis, you know? That's smart, it has educational value, but it is still a little confusing. I'm gonna just say it works. It's neutral. Dusk Noir, interesting. So dusk, I get because ghosts come out at dusk, right? Noir, it's dark, it's spooky, it's old-fashioned, it's black and white, even though it has yellow and red on it. Very opinionated here. I don't like how that sounds. Dusk Noir. You have to like inherently add a weird little half syllable between those words. Dusk Noir. Dusk Noir. Dusk, I guess not really. At the same time though, it is also literally just the word dusk and the word noir next to each other, right? There's like no mixing, there's no portmanteau, there's no... And I'm black, and noir is French for black. Nah, it's just bad. Frostlass, I like how it sounds, Frostlass, especially because it being frost and then an L, that sort of half implies the initial word, which is frost. It's like you're not saying Frostlass, it's Frostlass, but you can still hear that slight, ever so slight, implied T sound in there. Frostlass. And I like that a lot. It is ultimately just frost and lass kind of put next to each other and then letters removed, but it works. Rotom is motor backwards. It's like Ekans and Arbok again. You know, they already did that gimmick for that line, so to do that gimmick again, not quite as cool, but as a ghost, you know, ghosts in media, a lot of times they're portrayed as like invert colors, you know? Like an analog photograph Polaroid in the negative. Gosh, it's been so long since I've considered non-digital photography that like, I don't even remember the words. I'm tempted to put it in S tier, but I could see an argument for it being bumped down just one into a great name. But this is my video. I'm gonna say it's fine. It's beyond perfect. Motor backwards because it's an inverted motor, a negative ghost thing. Yeah. Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf. I hope I got those in the right order. Uxie, Mesprit, Azelf. I think I did. Yeah? Uxie, Mesprit, Azelf. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do you get it though? It's a sprite, a spirit, and an elf. And it's also you, me, and us. If you corrupt it a little bit. Us as... Yeah. But as a trio, it's also UMA, which is the Japanese version of cryptid, basically. You know how in English we have UFO for an unidentified flying object and stuff? In Japanese, they have UMA, which is still English because of cultural swap stuff, but it's unidentified, mysterious animal, basically a cryptid. And being like super legendary beasties of the lake, like their whole lore is just cryptid stuff. Honestly, really, really cool. Say what you will about the Pokemon designs. These names, as a trio, if these were singular Pokemon and the other two didn't exist, it wouldn't be as good of a name, obviously. But as a trio, mwah, mwah. Dialga. Gosh, that's a smart name. So like, Dialga. Dia, Spanish for day. Dial, as in a clock dial, because it's a Pokemon of time. It's also the diamond Pokemon, Dia. Like, and the G comes out to just emphasize its power. It's also Japanese for solid. It's solid, it's steel. G. Dialga. I am Dialga. And that solid is important because of its trio. It is the solid of the three states of matter, right? Because Palkia over here with its water type, it's the liquid. That's where the Kai comes from. In Palkia, they kind of reversed some letters a little bit, but Kai is Japanese for ocean, referring to the liquid sea, but also referring to space because like ancient people, like the ancient Egyptians, and I think maybe the Babylonians, thought that space was a giant ocean, basically. And then Paul or Pal is a corruption of Pearl, and the whole name also has like a galaxia vibe to it. Interestingly, I think Galaxia actually is just Milky in Latin, but like it being an ancient word, because of the Milky Way, duh. But again, Latin and other ancient languages are perfect for Pokemon with like ancient roots, which basically immortal legendary. Yeah, I'm gonna skip Heatran and Regigigas for now because Giratina is the third of the trio, and it is the gas of solid liquid gas. Giratina's lore is like, it was created and then it got banished because it was just messing stuff up. So now it's like evil, not evil, but you know, it's rude. No one really likes it. It's an intimidating, grr, I'm scary kind of guy. It's like a guillotine, Giratina. It stares down at you from on high. Girari, the Japanese onomatopoeia for staring. Why does staring have a sound? You can thank manga. But also platinum, or specifically platina, which is Spanish for platinum. Similar to Dia being Spanish for day for Dialga. Interesting that there's Spanish in there. Very cool. Starting with G and being ghost type, that implies gas because of, you know, gaseousness. I remember something about opal, like Latin for opal. Girasol, Gira. It's Gira something. But yeah, opals are red, so there you go. And then there's Heatran. It heats things and it transfers that heat. Heat transfer. I don't know. For something that's supposed to be a big legendary Pokemon, I think that's a bit uninspired. Regigigas. Regigigas is such a fun name. Regigigas is such a fun name, right? It sounds bouncy or like rumbling, which is what it would be making the ground do as it walks because it's this big golem titan thing. I'm not gonna say it's as good as Regice, but I'll put it with the other Regis here. It's a great name. Cresselia. You get a little bit of educational value in there. It's crescent, like a crescent moon, and Celia? Celia, I think is her name. It's the Greek goddess of the moon. I'm gonna say that's better than Minnie. Oh, I looked it up. It's Selene. Selene is the Greek goddess of the moon, but that still fits. Cresselia, Selene. Yeah. Greek goddess of the moon. Crescent moon. Legendary Pokemon. It should have ancient roots because it's legendary. I almost said mythical because Darkrai is mythical. And I'm so conflicted with Darkrai. So like, it's the word dark, obviously. It's dark type. It is darkness incarnate. And then Rai is Japanese for dark. So its name is literally Dark. Which, when you say it like that, it does sound kind of dorky. But like, if you are the epitome of darkness, right? It makes sense to just repeat meanings like that. And also being nightmares. A lot of people, when they wake up from nightmares, they're screaming, they're crying. Darkrai itself, it doesn't want to hurt others. It just accidentally does because that's what it does. So like, it would be crying all the time. So honestly, I'm gonna say that's a great name. You can make fun of it for being dark all you want, but at the end of the day, Darkrai, it sounds cool and intimidating. It gets across what it is. It even gets across what it does. It puts people in a dark place, dark nightmares, they wake up crying, right? I might actually bump that up. Yeah, that is a beyond perfect name. Yeah. Manaphy. So these days, mana is kind of like just the magic power in RPGs. You know, like you have your HP bar and you have your mana bar, which is how much magic you can do. But we get that word from Polynesian culture, mana basically being the spiritual life force of everything, which I think, if I remember right, does come from the ocean. Like the ocean is life and everything. So being, you know, like a life-creating ocean dweller thing, mana works really well, especially just because of its magical roots. And then Fee, I guess, is a corruption of fairy or fae. Manaphy. It's a water magic fairy thing. It works really well. I'm gonna say that's a great name. Fione, though, or Fione. There's so much confusion about how to say it because if I remember right, even the anime has pronounced it multiple ways. And also, what does that name get across? Like Manaphy, you can at least understand, like Fee as in Fae, it's a fairy, and then mana, water, spiritual stuff. It's magic. It's very magical mon. So you get that. What? Fione? Fione? Hey, do you have any games on your Fione? Like, I get it because I stare at Pokemon 8 hours a day, but Manaphy ends with the Fee, so there's the Fee, because it's the baby of Manaphy, and then it's Cleone, or Cleone is the name of the animal that it is. These guys. Look at this doofus. Yeah, that's what they are based on. They're also known as sea angels. So like, I get the name. It doesn't sound great. It doesn't super explain what it is because almost no one knows what this is. And the people who do know what this creature is, they know it as a sea angel. So like, it has that educational value, but it's confusing. I'm going to say it's confusing. It's confusing. How do you even say it? Shaymin, I'm also conflicted with because Shaymin implies shame. Like, oh man, what a shame, man. What a shame, man. But in actuality, it's supposed to be the opposite of that. It's the gratitude Pokemon. It's all about thankfulness and garbage like that. It sounds like shaman. I like that. Is it a shaman, though? I mean, shamans do have an association with grass and nature magic, so there's the grass type. There's Shamayin, which is Hebrew for heaven. It being associated with Arceus, that could be definitely implied, just because Arceus itself already has like Judeo-Christian, but also Buddhist roots. in it. It's grass flying type, right? Yeah, at least in its sky form. Because it's like an angel, a grateful angel that's coming to bless you since you prayed to God, and it's all nice and stuff. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't remember more about it. Here we go. Shaymin is from Xieshi, is what I'm gonna assume that's pronounced, which is Chinese for thanks. I like that. There's also Harinazumi, meaning hedgehog. Shaymin? Harinazumi? I mean, it is literally a hedgehog, but Harinazumi? Shaymin? Harinazumi? Shaymin? Those words are not the same. Maybe there's a syllable. The in. Harin? In? Shaymin? Okay. I'm gonna say it's uninspired or confusing. No. Because I don't want to say it works. It's definitely inspired. It just doesn't work, you know? Oh, man. I think this is the most conflicted I've been. Well, it's uninspired or confusing. So it's down here for the confusing reason, not the uninspired reason. Okay, and Arceus. Arceus has a whole... I did a whole video just about Arceus's name. Okay, so like go watch that if you want to know the details. There's a lot behind this name. I'm just gonna say beyond perfect. Okay, you can go watch that video if you want to know all the reasons. I'll summarize it extremely briefly here though from memory, so I'm probably forgetting things. But like first there's Arc, as in, you know, like an archangel. It's the head angel. But then there's the issue of like, how do you pronounce it? There's like 7 pronunciations. The official sources of in Pokemon, like that 3DS Pokedex app, the anime Detective Pikachu, the anime on a different occasion. There's like 4 different official pronunciations of it. And I feel like the confusion of how it's pronounced, honestly, is... I don't want to give Game Freak too much credit. But if the ultimate creator deity Pokemon has confusion around how its name is supposed to be pronounced, that just tracks with the like Judeo-Christian, like the biblical God, you know? No one knows how to pronounce it, as in literally. There are theories, but no one knows for sure because it's a dead language that's changed drastically. I shouldn't say it's a dead language. Hebrew is very much still spoken, but like, you know how Old English doesn't sound like English? Old Hebrew doesn't sound like Hebrew. It's the same problem. Is it Yahweh? Is it Yeshua? Is it Jehovah? Is it Ihilva? There's, you know, see? Like that's literally what I mean. It's genius. Because in medieval alchemy, but specifically the more like spiritual, Kabbalistic side of alchemy, there's a thing called the Arceus. And it's literally like an aspect of the astral plane, the like border between our world and the heavenly plane of existence, right? That's the Arceus. So you literally just remove one letter and that's Arceus. It's so cool. So cool. And then there's Victini. Oh, I'm in Gen 5 now. Okay, Victini. Victory. Tiny victory. That is ultimately all it is. Tiny victory. Victini. It works. Snivy. I actually really like the sound of the name Snivy. So it's Ivy, it's a snake, but it's also snide. Snivy. Right? That's real cool. Servine. Is it gonna serve vines? Oh, right, serpent. Servine. I'm just gonna say it works. Superior, a superior serpent. Again, it's cool. It works. Tepig. I did not know the word tepid until Tepig. And the way it just mixes those so well, yeah, better than many. Pignite. It just added the letter P in front of ignite. That is so good. Sometimes simple works really well. It sounds really cool because you also think like a knight. It's not a knight, but you know, it's a warrior because it is a warrior. And Embor because it's a boar, you know, an upgrade of a pig, and it's embers. And on top of that, it also sounds a bit like emperor, because like I like how superior is your superior, Embor is your emperor, which is just also fitting of its Chinese roots. Oshawott. I'm not sure how I feel about the sound of the name Oshawott, but gosh, are there layers. I think it might be a great name tier. Oshawott, you got the ocean, you got the shell, you got otter, you got water, you got wash. Like, yeah, that is a great name. Duat. Duat may be my favorite middle evo of a starter Pokemon, but the name is all ultimately just kind of water otter, Duat.
what?
I'll say it's better than many just because of that double ot meaning. And Samurott, a samurai otter. And the ot you could say is from water also, but it's kind of definitely lost that by this stage. Like Duwat at least has wat. Samurott now is rot. So like, I'm just gonna say it works. Pet rat, it's looking out for animatronics to theorize about. It's a pack rat. Yeah, it's a bit uninspired. Until you remember, wait a second, it evolves into watchhog. And like Pat Rat's always doing the thing because it's on patrol. It's a patrolling rat. Pat rat. Yeah, that bumps it up to it works. And watchhog, that name, honestly, I want it to be a warthog, but it's not a warthog. It's a prairie dog. That's on watch because it's a guard. Being kind of meerkatty, prairie dog like, it's like a watch dog. So you just change that letter. Yeah, it works. Lil pup. It's just a little pup. You know? It's just a little pup. It's so perfect for it. Again, sometimes simple is good. And I think this is an example where simple is good because it sounds real good. It's a little pup. Just a little pup. Yeah, Herdier. I would not name this thing Herdier myself. Like, I don't know, man. That just doesn't sound like a dog. Like, I get it. It's a herding dog terrier, Herdier. So it works, but you kind of have to think about it. Maybe if I grew up in like more of the countryside with like lots of livestock around me, it would click better. But as I am, I think it's just kind of confusing. Same with Stoutland. Like, what the actual heck? Why did they name it Stoutland? That's just bad. So it's stout, as in it's big and bulky because it's a big dog, right? And like the name Stoutland kind of implies Scotland because the whole line, the dog breed that it is a Scottish terrier. So like Scotland, Stoutland. But I don't know, man. Imagine naming a Pokemon like, I don't know, Yokai Japan. It's the first thing I thought of. No, it's just bad. Purloined, though. I don't think I heard the word purloin until this Pokemon, but like purloin, but spelled differently means to steal. And like, this is little thief cat. So you put purr as in purloin, right? That's good. That's better. And Lipard, it's not really a leopard, but it does have leopard print. But it lies to get what it needs. It's a Lipard. I feel like I kind of want to bump it down though, just because Lipard doesn't sound good, right? Off the tongue, Lipard. Pard is just not it's not an elegant syllable, not a sneaky syllable, it's pard. It works as a name, it just doesn't sound good. The monkeys! Banta. Okay, we got Pansage, Panseer, Panpour, Simisage, Simiseer, Simipour. Gotta judge them as a group because they are groups like that. So like, we'll start with the end syllables. Sage is a plant. It's a plant that's often used in cooking, so there you go, because remember the owners of these three Pokemon were the Ceylon and company, the dudes that owned the restaurant. The sear, because you sear meat and you sear vegetables when cooking, and pour, because look at them. They are incredibly unwealthy. But no, it's pour as in pouring water, or, you know, pouring ingredients into a thing. So I get that. Simi comes from simian because they are simians, I think. Actually, let me double check that. Simians are indeed monkeys. Okay, so yes, they are simians. So the pan is interesting because it double works also, but also kind of not. So first of all, remember the cooking theme with them. Pan. You literally cook things in a pan. But also consider the genus Pan, which is the genus that has bonobos and chimpanzees. Oh, hence chimpanzee. Duh. That's cool. But they're monkeys. They have tails. It's Infernate problem again. They are not chimps. They are not bonobos. They are monkeys. Simians, you could say. So I think as a whole group, they're going to be in better than many. Or maybe I just have the evolutions being better, and then because of they aren't chimps shenanigans, they go into just, it works. But they have that double meaning of pan, as in a pan that you cook with. Oh, why did I decide to do this? It's hard. I guess that's why I commissioned the thumbnail for this video literally 3 to 4 years ago. and I've just been procrastinating. I guess as a group, this is fine. If it was only like 2 of them, like if there was only Pansage and Simisage, they would be much better Pokemon, honestly, because you wouldn't have to see that many of them. As a trio of evolutions, those names are good. I can admit that. Munna has a lot of secrets hiding in that short, cute little name. It is a great name. So what is it? Luna, as in moon, because it's all about like good dreams and sleepy time and stuff, which is also what Mu means, or Ma. I don't remember if it's Mu or Ma, but it's Japanese for dream. If you remove just one letter, the second N from the name, it becomes Muna or Munna, which is Finnish for egg. I mean, look at it. It is shaped like an egg. You decorate eggs by drawing little flowers on them all the time for Easter, right? And I knew there was more, so I had to look this up. And yes, indeed, munya munya is the Japanese onomatopoeia for indistinct mumbling as if talking in one's sleep. They also theorize hana, meaning flower, which at first I was like, but it's not a flower. But then I remembered, wait, it's pink and it has flowers painted on it. I literally just talked about that with Easter eggs. And you know, that is a lot of overlap. It's literally impossible to name it better. So it's going into Beyond Perfect. Musharna, though, not quite as good, but still really good. It is going in a great name. Again, the same like Hana and Mana and Dream and Luna. And then Musha is like the sound of eating, particularly like soft things. Like dreams, because it's a dream eater. It's a tapir. That's what they do in real life too. It's just not quite as overlapping with the themes as Munna, and also Musharna. It doesn't sound as good. Munna has that like simple simplicity to it. Musharna is like mush. Pidove. It's a pigeon and it's a dove. Did you know those are technically the same like family of birds? It's uninspired. Tranquil. Oh gosh, I remember this one being deep, right? It's like tranquility. Right? No, okay. So I couldn't, for the life of me, remember what was deep about it. And then, so I looked it up. And the deepness is with its Japanese name, not its English name. Its English name is, it's just tranquil and quill, as in the tail feather bird stuff. So, okay. It's better than Pidove, at least. So it works. And Unpheasant, I mean, I get it. It's a pheasant. It's unpleasant to be around. But is it unpleasant to be around? Why is it named that? Like, look at its Pokedex entries. Like, it's got plumage. I mean, they threaten opponents with their plumage. They fly. The males and females look very different. They're proud. People will sit up and take notice if you become the trainer of one. What is unpleasant about this pheasant? I understand the name, but like, I don't like it. It's just bad. Blitzel, it's really fast. To blitz is to like run real fast and go, but it also sounds like a zap because the Z's. A blitz, I think there's an American football team that's like the Blitzes or something like that, and their insignia is a lightning bolt. I have to look that up. I was thinking of the Chargers, but I did find out a blitz is a thing in football. It's a defensive tactic where extra defenders, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, yeah, zebra, so there's a Z in there. Blitz, I think, is something for lightning. European? German? Probably German. Yeah, because of the Blitzkrieg and all that. Blitz is lightning in German, and it's little. It's another example of simple, but working real well just because of a tiny bit of overlay. Zebstrika, though, I understand what they're doing. It's a zebra, lightning strikes. Zebstrika does not sound good. That is an ugly name. Shame on anyone who likes the name. Without even thinking about it for longer than a second, I would take Zapra, because it's a zapping zebra. I would take that over Zebstrika any day. And I thought about that for a second, okay? It's not like it's uninspired or confusing, it's just bad. Like, Zebstrika. Ew. I'm going to gag. Same with Roggenrola. Like, why? Okay, so it's rock, it rolls, it's rock and roll because it's like a speaker ear. I don't know, the name Roggenrola sounds like it could work for a Pokemon, but if you gave that name to an artist to draw and they had never seen the Pokemon before, they wouldn't draw this. I can guarantee you that. Maybe not bad, Roggenrola. It's also such a long name for such a tiny little dude. No, I'm gonna say it's bad. We're feeling the vibes. Boldore is also just kind of, it's like it's a boulder. It's ore. A boulder filled with ore. No, I'll say that works. Gigalith. I like how it's like double Greek, because you know, rocks are super ancient, so ancient languages and all that. Because it's like Gigas is like giant in Greek, and then lith, I think, litho, something like that. It means stone in Greek. So it's a big rock. big stone. And a megalith is like when you take a giant stone and you stack it on top of other stone, like Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a bunch of megaliths. And that's also an ancient thing. That's also literally what it is. You got the one big stone that's the body and the head, and then you got all the little stones, which are the legs. It's literally a megalith. There's some educational value in there. It's cool. It's Greek. It's better than many. Woobat and Swoobat. I mean, say what you will about the Pokemon, but those are pretty decent names. They're bats. They got fluffy fluff on them, so that like wool. You know, Swoobat, you got Woolbat, you hear Woobat, wool, right? So that's good, but also they're all like lovey-dovey and stuff, you know? They're trying to woo you, to swoon you, right? Swoon, that's what swoon means, right? Oh, that is not quite what swoon means. It's to faint from extreme emotion. When someone faints because they got kissed for the first time by their ultimate crush, that's them being swooned. When someone faints at a wedding, they are swooned. I'll just say it works. Drill burr. It burrows with its drill, and a burr is also a part of a drill, if I remember right. Yes, they are indeed. It's the cutting drill part. These are burrs. So while the name does not contain anything that tells you it's a mole, it works and it's good. Excadrill, same idea. It's got a drill and it excavates with it. Excadrill also sounds cool. It's kind of some hard words in there, but excavate, that's a good educational word, so it works. Audino. Audino. So it's not a dinosaur, or is it? No, it's like a weird angel pig thing. Audino. It has like a stethoscope, so and super powerful ears, so audio. Audio is its root word. Audino. Audino. Where's the N coming from? Because it's not a dinosaur. I gave up, so I looked it up. And it comes from the phrase, I don't know. And I'm like, really? Is that? Oh, well, okay, yeah, because the Japanese name contains tabone, which means maybe. So like, what am I not remembering about this Pokemon? Because like, it's a nurse. Nurses should know what's going on, especially if they can hear everything. I'm gonna say it's confusing. Okay, controversial take. Say what you will about Timber, Girder, and Conkeldurr, but like, there's some cool overlap here with the way that they're named, right? Because you got Timber, as in trees fall down, you yell Timber, and like, it's obviously carrying a cut tree. Lumber. Oh, lumber, timber. Lumber is sometimes just called timber too. And then it's also like burr as in burly, because they're strong muscles, they're muscle men. Tim is a very common man name. Timber is a very great name for this little guy, but that is the highest this line will achieve, because then you get Girder. It sounds like herder. Herder is a way that you would say a very stupid person speaks. Herder minorities are cringe, herdy-dirty-dur, you know? Like that. It's just a bad name. And Conkeldurr, like, I get it. It's an elder who has concrete, but the name just sounds like Conkeldurr, right? Conkeldurr. Herder. I'm old and have canker sores. No, it's bad. It's just bad. Timple. It has a tympanic membrane, which is a thing that frogs have, and it maintains tempo. It's educational, it's cool, explains what it is if you know that frogs have tympanic membranes. I double checked myself because I started thinking, wait a second, do frogs have tympanic membranes? And like the answer is yes, but it's not because they're frogs, it's because they have ears. Tympanic membranes are it's the part of the inner ear that lets you hear things. Look at Timple, look at its ears. It's got giant tympanic membranes sticking out, but frogs do have giant ones. I mean, look at this. The frog ears, you see that their ears are bigger than their eyes. Are our ears bigger than our eyes? I guess like technically, but it feels wrong to say that. It's a great name. Palpitoad though, it palpitates. It's a fun educational word, you know? That's what it does. And it toad, Palpitoad. It is just kind of mixing those, so I'll say it works. But bonus points bump it up. Seismitoad though. Ooh, tricky. Does it go next to Palpitoad or does it stay in it works? Cause like, so it's seismic, you know, it's shaking a lot, a big shake. Seismitoad. It also sounds like a big toad because it's got a lot of size. Why would you mix seismic with toad? Seismic toad. Seismitoad. It feels like a weird way of combining words because those words have nothing in common. I'll go ahead and keep this family together here. Sock and throw though, like, again, I get it. It's sock, which means to punch someone, and throw, which is to throw someone. And then they're spelled wrong to make it a Pokemon name. It's literally Seal again. It's Seal, but worse. So they're going here. They're going and it's just bad. Swaddle is such a cute little name. So like, it's a baby, a little toddler. It waddles because that's how babies walk. And its clothes are sewn together by its mom, which is Leavanny, but we'll get to that. And like also to wrap a baby up in cloth tightly bound, only the head exposed, literally what it is with the leaf is to swaddle them. So good. It's better. What would the flaw be? I guess the flaw would be that doesn't explain its type, nor does it explain that it's a bug, which I guess is part of its type. Yeah. See, Swadloon at least explains that it's a cocoon. Swadloon. It's a swaddled cocoon, but it's still just here. And Leavanny, at a surface level, it's just a nanny with leaves because, you know, it's a leaf cutter bug or any of those bugs that pretend to be leaves. You know, it's a nanny. It swaddles Swaddle and Swadloon. But consider that Leavanna is a Greco-Roman goddess of newborn babies. So of course she's a nanny bug. Of course. That is so good. That is a great name. In fact, you know what? Leavanny, a beyond perfect name. I guess you could say the Ann in there is like ant, like leafcutter ants, but that's kind of a stretch, isn't it? Venipede! It's a venomous centipede or millipede, and it works. Whirlipede. It is a centipede or millipede that is whirling around at the speed of sound. It's got places to go. Scolipede. I always want to say it's scoliopede, like scoliosis, because of how wonky its spine-shaped body is. But no, it's scolipede. Pede comes from centipede, millipede. Scola, is it gonna scold you? Why was it called that? I want to say scoliopendra, but where is my brain pulling that from? Hot dang, I was right. I'm actually proud of myself for remembering that. It's just a big kind of centipede or millipede. Which one is it? Centipedes. Yeah, it's a family of centipedes. Okay, so its name is ultimately just centipede. I'm gonna bump that down. How do you think this Pokemon feels? Kind of cottony, right? It's cotton weed. It's wee. It's a tiny little thing. It's cottony. It's simple. It works. Whimsicott is feeling whimsical, and it's got cotton. Whimsicott. Petlil. I get it. It's a little petal, but it doesn't sound good to me. Petlil. TL. TL is such a hard combination of letters to say. Petlil. Petlil. Petlil? Maybe it's just my West Coast accent. I'm gonna say it's confusing just because of the pronunciation issue. Lilligant is much easier to say. It is an elegant lily. So pleasant. It works. Basculin, honestly, is such a weird and out there name. Like, okay, it's a bass and it's masculine. It's very manly because that's how you describe fish. It's a manly bass. It's masculine. I mean, basculin. That's such an out there name, right? For that alone, I'm gonna say it's better than many just because it's creative. It is just the word masculine but spelled with a B, but like, again, simple can work really well sometimes. Oh, geez, I know I included this line in the like examples at the very beginning of this video, but that was 2 days ago. So I don't remember where I put them. I know Crocodile. Okay, Crocodile, genius name. Beyond perfect. Crocorock. It's not a Korok. It's not rock type. It's rock and roll, I guess. It's crock and roll. Crocorock. It's confusing. And Sandile, Crocodile. It works. Yeah, I hope that was right so I don't look like a fool now for having the vibes be that different just from a few days ago. Darumaka is an interesting and educational little bugger because, like, that doesn't mean anything in English. So, like, it's a small Daruma doll, hence Darumaka. And then Maka is Japanese for crimson, which is the color that it is, and it could also be, like, macaque. It doesn't... I mean, what else would this be besides a monkey, right? It being a monkey is more obvious with its evolution, which is Darmanitan, who somehow is an orangutan. I guess just because orangutans have, like, significantly longer arms than their entire bodies and legs and head and everything. So, okay, it's a Daruma doll that's a orangutan. Plus, Darumaka, that sounds like such a cute name. I love that name. Even if I didn't know that it looked like this friendly fellow, I would think, Darumaka, I want to be friends with whatever that is. Darmanitan, though, yeah, I mean, it's good. I feel like knocking it down just to it works. But then again, is it even an orangutan, or is that just like the closest that the localizers could come up with? You know? Same with Darumaka. It's educational, it's cute. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to go into just it works. Yeah, but a high it works for that fancy educational value. Maractus. It's a cactus with like maraca hair, right? Yeah, it works real good. Dwebble, it's a hermit crab that lives inside a pebble. It dwells there. Dwells in the pebble. Dwebble. And it's adorable. Adorable. That's good. Or is it a great name? Dwebble. Yeah, that's a great name. Crustal, less so. I mean, it's a crustacean that's got like Earth's crust on its back. Crustal, castle? This is the worst looking castle I've ever seen. It works. We'll just say it works. Scraggy and Scrafty though. They're scrawny, they're scraggy, they're scraggly, they're scrappy, they're crafty, they're baggy, because of the baggy pants. There's a lot of overlap with those names. And also it kind of gets across their dark and fighting type, because of like, if you're crafty in a fight, that means you're doing fighting things, but also you're doing kind of mean things, trickstery things, which is what the dark type is all about. So I'm gonna say Scraggy is better than many, and Scrafty is a great name. Sigilif, it's a sigil, it's a glyph, and it's a sylph, a wind air spirit, which is what a sylph is. Honestly, really good. For this Pokemon, that is a great name because it's ancient. So like a glyph, a sigil, those are ancient things, ancient temple ruins things. Yeah, mask. So it carries around a mask. I really wish it was Ba mask instead of Yamask, because a Ba is literally what it is. In ancient Egypt, a Ba is like a spirit that would take your soul to the underworld, literally carrying your soul the way that Yamask carries the mask, right? Look at this. It's Yamask. So why couldn't they name it Ba Mask or Ba Mask instead? So Yamask, it's Ya. Oh, Ya. It's something to do with darkness. Yami is Japanese for darkness, which is what its body is, I guess. I don't know, I'll say it works. If it was Ba Mask or Ba Mask, it would do a lot better. And Cough Egregious. I love how so many ghost type Pokemon have like big scary words in their names. It's egregious. It's an egregious coffin. It's a scary word. Like if you're a little kid just learning big words, you know, you're reading C spot run and skibbity 6-7. My wife is a teacher, one of the ones that goes between a bunch of classes to help teachers as needed. So she works from like preschool to I think 4th grade. She's told me about kids, preschoolers, who cannot count to 7, but they know about 6-7, and the whole class erupts. What are we doing? But yeah, like if you're a kid learning how to read, big words are scary because they're intimidating. And so like a ghost type Pokemon, if you want to up its intimidation factor for the target audience of kids, you use big words like egregious. And plus on top of it being an Egyptian sarcophagus, it could also just be a coffin, you know? And when you open them, the dust flies everywhere, you cough a whole bunch. Egregious coughing. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up in a great name. Tortuga has some fun little educational value to it because it's a turtle, and Tortuga is Spanish for turtle. Yes, its name is just Turtle, but I mean, look at it. It's a freaking turtle. So it's a good name. It's better than many. Caracosta now, though, will need a little bit of explaining about the Pokemon. It has a carapace, the outer shell, and it's a sea turtle. You see them out in the ocean or on the coast, costa being Spanish for coast. And like, it's Caracosta. It's gonna accost ya, which is an aggressive assault on someone. Considering these Pokemon are like, they're from Unova, New York City, and the NYPD is like a whole thing, and Caracosta's literally police blue and wearing a bulletproof vest, or you know, its sea turtle shell is extremely reminiscent of a bulletproof vest. Yeah, it's gonna assault ya. It's a cop. Honestly, all things considered, that is a great name. There's also a fossil formation that's like Costa, the Carrara formation, because the Caracosta is a fossil Pokemon, remember. The Carrara formation, it's in Nevada, and it used to be the ocean. A lot of sea creature fossils there. Is it Archon or is it Arkin? I actually don't know. I'd have to check the anime again. It works, or it is even better than Mini, because it's based on the Archaeopteryx. So it's just like a cute version of Archaeopteryx, mixing that with Archaean, as in the Archaean period? Basically, it's a super ancient, very old, because it's a fossil Pokemon. Yeah. And Archeops does the same, but mixes in Cheops, which has very little to do with it, actually. What was Cheops again? Yeah, so Cheops is the Greek name for Khufu, who was an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. And so like, yeah, it's a fossil Pokemon, so it's ancient, but it's significantly more ancient than the ancient Egyptians, all right? Because it's the Archaeopteryx. So it's Archeops. They just shortened Archaeopteryx and added an S at the end. It may have very little to do with Egypt. So we'll put it in It Works next to Yamask, who is very Egyptian. Who's next? How much more of Gen 5 is there? Oh gosh, I'm so tired. Trubbish. I mean, it's trash and it's rubbish. It's not very creative, but it's cute sounding. Trubbish. It gets across exactly what it is. It's smart in that way, so it works. Garbodor or Garbodor, it's Garbodor. My gut wants it to be Garbodor. It's not what would Garbodor even mean? It's garbage and it has a door? A doorway to what? Smell bad? I don't want to smell bad. Better keep that door closed. Garbodor. It works. But does it really? It sounds bad. Garbodor. But it is an ugly Pokemon, so I guess it's sounding bad might be intentional. Zorua. Z's are cool. Bonus point for coolness of it being a Z. Zoro is Spanish for fox, and Rua is red in some language. I'll put it on screen. Though ultimately, like, it's not that red. It's much more gray and black. So like, I think I'll just say it works. No, honestly, I think it's a bit uninspired because it's just fox. It's just fox in Spanish with ua at the end. I know it's a popular Pokemon, but there's my hot take. Zorua is not a good name. And don't even get me started on Zoroark. How are you supposed to say that? How is someone who's still learning how to read and speak supposed to say that? Zoroark. I struggle. Zoroark? It doesn't even roar, does it? It's a fox. It goes, that's what the fox say. I do get the arc though. The top, it's fully evolved, so it's all grown up. It's dark. Aku is evil in Japanese, and it's pure dark type, so like it's an evil fox. Foxes have always been like kind of thick and twisted in Japanese mythology. We'll go ahead and say it's better than Mini, but flawed. That flaw being, how do you say it? Zoroark. It is a weak B tier. It is just barely out of C. Minccino and Cinccino also kind of have that problem where like it's kind of hard to know how to pronounce them if you're learning how to read still. I know by the time Gen 5 came out, I was already like 13. But even then, at that age, I was like, what do these Pokemon have to do with coffee? Like cappuccino. Maybe that's the dyslexia talking. Yeah, they're like chinchillas with like minky fur. They dust things. Okay, Minccino. It's mini. It's a small little guy. And Sinnoh. From what I remember from doing the name video years and years ago, a Sinnoh is like a cloth of some kind, which like, okay, you use rags to dust things, and their whole shtick is that they dust things because chinchillas love dust baths. That's fair. No, that's not fair. I've looked it up. Sinnoh cloth is not. It's not for dusting. It's just a kind of fabric. It's pure cotton, so I'll give you that, but it's for pants and shirts. And like, it doesn't wear clothes. It's Cinccino. It's not sock and throw. Like, I don't know. The name doesn't really explain anything about it. It's confusing. It does sound cute. Minccino, it's cute. I don't know, it sounds like it belongs in a cafe, on a cafe menu. Cinccino even more so. Like, I can feel the essence of chinchilla in that name, but it's like the LaCroix of chinchilla, you know? It's like barely there. So these names don't help you understand the Pokemon, are difficult to read, difficult to pronounce. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bump Cinccino down to it's just bad. I hate when C's sound like S's, especially 3 times in the same word. Gothita, Gothorita, and Gothitelle, all kind of the same name, because they're all goths, specifically the more Japanese pop goth style. And then you got Spanish roots for what they are. You know, it's Ita, it's Lolita, it's a Spanish little baby girl. And then Gothorita is a señorita, you know, a young girl, but not as tiny baby as girl. And then Gothitelle, Mademoiselle. You know, that's French actually, I think. Yes, I have looked it up. It is French. I guess France and Spain are right next to each other, so there's overlap. But there is an extra cool bit about Gothitelle because psychic type fortune teller, Gothitelle, gonna tell you your fortune. And also a stellar, stars, because they're astronomers. They study the stars to see the future, to foretell things. Gothitelle, a gosh dang great name. The other two, yeah, they're good. These two work. Solosis, Duosian, and Reuniclus. So, single, double, molecules. So osmosis, fission or fusion or division, and reunite. The names of the line don't flow as well as I'd like them to, but they do work. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with the names, but there is an extra bonus point for Reuniclus because homunculus, right? Artificial life made by science and or alchemy. Little dudes often made in jars and stuff. This is literally a little dude sitting in a bunch of liquid. It's a great name. Ducklet. It's the ugly duckling, which is actually not a duck, but you know, the story is the ugly duckling, and it's a little duck, so it's let, suffix for little. It works. For whatever reason, whenever I read the word swanna, I just imagine like a hand saying swanna. I don't know. This is just how my brain works, I guess. It's a swan ballerina because the ballerina swan dance play, it works. Vanillite, Vanillish, and Vanillux. Funnily, a lot of the Pokemon names, when their tiers are split up as they evolve, it's always been like the final evolution is the coolest, most well thought out one. But I feel like in this case, it's going to be the other way around. So they're all vanilla because vanilla ice cream. Vanillux is just vanilla deluxe. You know, deluxe is often like the biggest size of ice cream that you get at a place. So the name works. Vanillish, it's kind of vanilla, but no, actually it's delicious. It's delish, which is short for delicious, vanilla. It works. It's fine. But Vanillite, I feel like, is just one tier above the other two, just because it's light. It's small. That the high I in that name, because you got Vanillish, here you have Vanillite. That high I sound, like in ice. And you also get words like it's a delight, or stalactite, it's an icicle. Vanillite. I just think it's better than the other two. Oh, it's my darling, dearling, a deer who's a darling and a yearling. So a yearling is what you call an animal when they're between 1 and 2 years old. So like they're still young, but they're not a baby. They're also not fully grown yet. But what bumps this name up one more tier is that because it's a yearling, what does a year contain? All 4 seasons, right? And its whole shtick is its form changes as the seasons change, and I just think that's really cool. And Sawsbuck, at a surface level, you hear Sawsbuck, you're like, what is saw about it? Nothing. It doesn't saw anything. And why is it Sawsbuck? Well, it's because summer, autumn, winter, spring. Sawsbuck. It's a buck that has seasonal changes. It's smart. I like it. In fact, I think I like both of them enough to say they are great names. Emolga is just a bad name. Like, let's just get that out of the way. It sounds bad. Emolga. It sounds like a disease or like inappropriate anatomy, right? Like Emolga. Oh, where did he touch you? My Emolga. It is not at all cute. It is not at all fun. It is just bad. What does it even mean? So like most of the other Pikachu clones, it's an all Japanese name, and it combines Imon, meaning drapery, with Mamonga, which are super cute. Look at these little guys. Yeah, Mamonga, and then Imon, meaning drapery, which is like the cape that it's using because it's a flying squirrel. Like, you can understand the name and still not like it, and that is what's going on here. I despise the name Emolga. It is the grossest sounding name in this franchise, all right? Bad, icky, yucky, disgusting. Carablast is much, much better because it's a scarab and it explodes because it's a bombardier beetle. Its carapace explodes. Escavalier is an escargot cavalier. It works. It works real well. Fungus and Amoongus. Together they make that famous saying, fungus among us. But why? Well, because of their Pokeball tops, they fool people into touching them. Fool on you. These are great names. Frillish and Jellicent. Bit conflicted here too. So like Frillish. It's a jellyfish with lots of frills. Frillish. Jellyfish, frillish. I think we can leave it at it works. Jellicent. It's a magnificent jellyfish. Again, I just think it works. Hello, Momola. The name always strikes me as being very British, but it's a Mola Mola fish, but then you make the name a palindrome because, like, look at the Pokemon. It itself is like a palindrome, but top down, you know? It's exactly the same top and down. And because of that extra layer of fun, I'm gonna say it's a great name. Joltik. It's short because it's so tiny. It's a little tick. It's a little jolt. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that's a good name. In fact, it's that good of a name. Galvantula, I mean, you do galvanize metal with electricity, but like, I don't know. When I hear galvanized, I immediately think of metal, not the electricity that is used in the process of making it. So I think Galvantula is going to stay and it works. Ferroseed. It's a seed that is ferrous, which means it's made of iron. It works. Little bonus points for being educational. You know, what does ferrous mean? It means made of iron. So yeah, Ferrothorn, same deal. It's got thorns. So Clink, Clang, and Cling Clang, like, what do you want me to say? I understand the names. There are gears that separate and combine all that. They make, the little one makes a little sound. It's clink, clink. The bigger one makes a big sound. So it's clang, clang. And then the even bigger one, but it still contains the parts of the smaller one, would make both. It's a clink, clang, clink, clang, clink, clang. But there has to be a better name for them though, right? I think I'm just gonna put them in uninspired. Dynamo is a tiny dynamo. I don't remember exactly what a dynamo is. I know it has to do with generating electricity. It's a part of an electric generator that does the actual generating, I believe. It works. Electric, ooh. So like it's an electric eel, but it's actually a lamprey, but like it's an electric eel mixed with a lamprey. I mean, electric eel, that's just begging for electric. But at the end of the day, it just sounds like it's type electric, right? So that's confusing and potentially uninspired. So I'll just do that. Electros. What is Tross? I'm genuinely asking. Like, is it the boss because of all the mucus and stuff? Is it gross? Is it supposed to be Electros? It's not Electros. Honestly, I feel like just saying it's bad. Electros. I mean, the name sounds cool though. Yeah, we'll keep it in confusing and uninspired. LGM and BHM are fun because those are both acronyms used to describe aliens. Like LGM, it's Little Green Men, and BHM, it's Bug-Eyed Monster, right? It's so fun. Though come to think of it, even I knew of Little Green Men, I never heard of Bug-Eyed Monster, but they're both kind of like old-fashioned terms. Like, they're not used much these days, but like back in the like early days of sci-fi media, like the 60s and 70s, oh yeah, it was big. Litwick, Lampent, and Chandelure. I love the name Litwick. That is so fun. It sounds small. It is literally a lit wick. It's wick. The candle wick is lit. This is a great name. I might even put it in Beyond Perfect. The only issue with it kind of being that it doesn't really explain that it's a ghost in any sort of way. But then again, I guess the wick is lit because of ghost. Lampent, why is it pent? So it's a lamp, it's a lantern, it's pent. Is it repentant? Is that the pent? Oh, it laments. Something that you do like at a funeral, you know, you lament about the life that was lost and it's sad and stuff and there's a dead person now, so there's a ghost. That's a great name. Chandelure. I mean, so it's a chandelier and it lures you in because the ghost fire does that in the mythology that it's based on. Also a great name. And in a sort of roundabout way, it does get across its types. You know, the luring you in, that's ghostly stuff. Ooh, get lured. And then chandeliers, especially before electricity, had a bunch of candles on them, so a bunch of fire ghost. Axew, Fracture, and Haxorus. So, Axew. Ew. An axe. But also you'll notice that the axe horns are coming out of its mouth, so it's like it's chewing on the axe. So, does that work? Or is that better than most? Put it in better. Fracture is not that great though, honestly. It's got the axe. To fracture something is to split it, like what you do with an axe. So all this really tells me is that it has an axe. Haxorus at least gets more about it across. It's a dinosaur. It's like Tyrannosaurus. It ends with saurus. It has axe in it, and what do you do with an axe? You hack things, Haxorus, and it's also hazardous. I mean, just look at its color. It is colored like hazardous waste. I'm gonna say that's a great name. Cubchoo, the snotty little polar bear cub with a chew. But when you say achoo, you can put a C in front of it, and it's Cubchoo. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say it's a great name. Beartic, though, not as good. So, like, it's a polar bear. They live in the Arctic. I get that. So, Arctic itself comes from Arcticos, which is ancient Greek for bear, because bears live in the Arctic. Whereas Antarctica, no, it means no. There's no bears in Antarctica. There's penguins instead. So, the name works, but I think we're just gonna have to leave it at that. Cryogonal. So cryo is a prefix meaning cold, which it literally is. It's literally a living snowflake. It's hexagonal because it's a snowflake. Simple as Shelmet. Its helmet is its shell. It works. A Selgor. Escargot that excels because it's fast. A Selgor. It works. Stunfisk has a little bit of extra meaning in there. Just slightly. So it stuns you with paralysis because electric paralysis is its whole deal. Fish, or Fisk, which is German for fish, I believe. And also disc, because it's flat. It's like disc shaped, like a CD-ROM. Mine Fu and Mine Shao. They taught me what ermines were. Like, I always knew about stoats and weasels, but I never knew that, like, they're all ermines, right? That's cool. I liked that. Ultimately, though, the names just kind of work. It's an ermine that knows Kung Fu, and it's an ermine that knows Shaolin stuff. Drudigon does have a bit of a pronunciation issue. Is it Drudigon? Druidigon? Drudgidigon? I've heard so many different pronunciations throughout my life. Ultimately, it is just dragon mixed with like dread or drudge or dredge, because like to drudge is to do like menial work like digging a hole. Guess where Drudigons live? In a cave. Its head being red makes it kind of reddy or ruddy, red, drudge. If you've seen our video that is exclusively about the origins of this Pokemon, it is very, very Welsh. And in the language Welsh, there's a lot of double D's and a lot of G's and a lot of these kinds of syllables. So like the name fits the roots of its design, and for that reason, I'm bumping it up better than many. Golett and Golurk, proper golems, not that Gen 1 mistake. Where did the Gen 1 mistake go? Golem? Punch. Golett. It's a little golem. Just a little guy. It works. And Golurk, it lets you know it's lurking because it's ghost type. It is a ghost type golem. It is spooky, and so it is one tier up. Poniard and Bisharp, or Bisharp. Here's another one that has a lot of confusing things, because again, the games don't have voice acting, so it's hard to know exactly how it's pronounced unless you watch the anime, which a lot of people don't. So like Bisharp would work because it has 2 blades, one on each arm, and it also has 2 blades on its torso, so it's Bisharp, but no, it's Bisharp because it's a bishop, even though it's not even a bishop. So like these two are based on ranks in shogi pieces, and like chess is kind of the closest that the West gets to shogi. So I understand why the localizers did that, but it doesn't really help because they don't look like a pawn or a bishop. They look like little samurai dudes with blades for hands. So I'm putting them in confusing. You know, fun fact that I didn't learn until somewhat recently, like the chess piece is only called a bishop, like in English speaking areas. It's all kinds of different things depending on where the chess set is being made. And if you follow the history of chess back far enough, they weren't bishops at all, or even priests of any kind. They were elephants, which is why they can move between pieces diagonally, because like if an elephant is coming towards you, you're getting out of the way. And over literal centuries, the shape that was supposed to be the elephant's like trunk and tusks slowly morphed into the shape that later on someone said, oh, that looks kind of like a bishop's hat. And then they became known as bishops, but they were always elephants. Like Bouffalant. Bouffalant is not an elephant, but it does have a very large boof, which is like puffy, fluffy hair like that, like an afro. You could describe as a boof. It wouldn't be completely accurate, but even then, boof is short for bouffant. Hence Bouffalant ending with ent. Bouffant. This is a bouffant, an old-fashioned way of making your hair all big and fancy-like. And you mix that with buffalo, because it's a buffalo, even though it's a bison, which is not a buffalo, but a lot of Americans don't know that difference because why learn when you can just guns? Rufflet, it ruffles its feathers and it's little. It works. Braviary, it's a aviary, which is a place that birds go, and it's brave, because it's an American eagle. Yeah, it works. Volibee, a vulture baby, especially baby because it has a diaper, and that diaper is a skull. And then the other part of the skull, the jaws, are the dress thing on Mandibuzz, who is a buzzard, another word for a vulture, and has mandibles. It's wearing the mandibles, a buzzard with mandibles. Honestly, actually, I'm gonna bump that up. That's of the 4 of them in that little set, it's the best. So Durant, it's durable, and it's an ant. I think it just works. Heat more, heats more. There has to be something more to that, right? Oh yeah, duh. Thank you, Bulbapedia. It's got armor, like heat armor and mortar, and it might also be like motor. It has like weird engine exhaust parts all over. It's one of the few Pokemon designs I actually question what was going on through their heads, okay? Dinos, Violus, and Hydreigon. First of all, that's 1, 2, 3 in German, referring to the number of heads they have, because, you know, it's a Hydra, hence the Hydreigon, Gon being from dragon. So it's a Hydra dragon with 3 heads. Dino or Dino does also, it's the closest one to looking like it's just a sauropod. It's just a baby dinosaur. So it works. Zweilis has a bit of a pronunciation thing. Is it Zweilis? Technically, it should be Zweilis, but like that's hard for English speakers. So I think that's going to keep it just in it works. Hydreigen, keeping up with the 1, 2, 3 and the German theming and the origin of the design being from that part of the world. I think that bumps it up, even if it does have a little bit of that pronunciation issue, hence it being a bit flawed. Larvesta, it's a moth larva. It's hot like lava, and Vesta, it's like a Greek. Is it Greek or Roman? It's one of those. It's Roman. Vesta is the goddess of hearth and home and is represented by an eternally burning fire. There you go. Volcarona, it's a volcano moth that its wings form a corona, which is the outer edge of the sun. Keeping up with the Roman theme, you got Vulcan, the god of fire and volcanoes. It's really cool. In fact, I think I'm going to bump it up to a great name. But then again, all that name really tells you is that it's fiery. It's big, it's fancy, not legendary, but close to it, and it's fiery. Yeah, it's a great name, even if it doesn't get anything about its bugginess across. Okay, the Gen 5 legendaries and mythicals. There's a stinking ton of them, and the first 3 are the Swords of Justice. They're really weird in their names, right? Like, okay, Cobalion. It's cobalt, which is the color that it is. Cobalt, I think, is also a blue metal. And it is steel type, right? Yes, it is. Steel type. It's a cobalt stallion is what it is, basically. Even though it's an antelope and not a horse, but I guess it works. Terrakion or Terrakion, a little bit of that pronunciation issue, but not much. Terra means earth, and it's like a champion of the earth. And I remember there's an ox. Yeah, these guys. Tekken, they got these little horns. And Verizon Wireless, or Verizion, I guess. I think actually isn't going to be with the trio because there's no reason for that Z to be there. Okay, it's Viridian, which is like a slightly bluish, bright green color. Viridis is Latin for green. At least it's Latin, so ancient, legendary, all that. And champion again, Verizion. Why is the Z there? Plus, at least these two are using slightly bigger words. I mean, I didn't know about Takin or Takin until I was researching this Pokemon the first time forever ago. And then Cobalt, like, how many kids know what Cobalt is, That's cool. Tornadus and Thundurus. The whole quartet of them pull from Aeolus, which is the king of the wind in Greek mythology. They take that and just put their element in front of it. So like Tornadus, it's a tornado Aeolus. Thundurus, it's literally a thunderous Aeolus. Landorus is the Aeolus of the land, and Enamorus is an enamored Aeolus. But we'll get to Enamorus when we get to Enamorus. For now, the names they're better than many. Not as thought out as I'd like. I'd like that they're pulling in a Greek myth because education value, and also that makes them sound more legendary. I just wish they were a little more creative. Since I'm going slightly out of order already, Keldeo, it's a water horse, like the Kelpie, a mythical water horse, and Rodeo, because it's a water horse that bucks around a lot. So like, it works. It's good. It's a good name. The name even sounds like it belongs to a young guy. A young, like, Italian, French guy. Hey, I'm Keldeo. Let me join your club, please, Three Musketeers. So I'll bump it up. It's better. It's better than the other 3, at least. Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem. So I remember there was an interview with Ken Sugimori forever ago, back when, Black and White was new. And he mentioned that he wanted the syllables to all work. Like, Zekrom, it sounds zzz, hard, or zap because electricity. And Ray is softer because it's literally a fluffy dragon. It is a softer sound. Soft like fire, I guess. Other than that, though, they just pull from Japanese for black and white because they are black and white. But I don't understand why Reshiram ends with that M. Why? It's not a ram. I mean, I guess it could be a ram. It's got the fluff. It's sheepy. But like, Zekrom's gonna be 1 tier higher than Reshiram. Zekrom definitely sounds like a big, mean Zekrom. I'm Zekrom. I'm all black and I'm gonna zap you. I'm Zekrom. Reshiram is like, Reshi. I'm fancy. I'm white and clean and fancy and... Yeah, it's actually, I don't think I'm going to put it in a great name. I think it's just better. It fits it, but there's just a lot of questions surrounding it, I feel, personally. Kyurem, though, I remember there's like the Japanese word for absolute zero in there, or just zero, and gray. It's another one of those where the whole name is just Japanese, and it basically means snow, ice, absolute zero, completely frozen to the point of it being nothing. Yeah. And then it ends with Rem, just to be different from Ram and Rom. Yeah. It's a really good, very well thought out name. Very cool. But now in remembering the whole like Rem, Ram, Rom thing, that's the reason Reshiram ends with Ram. Not because of sheepy stuff, but just because it's Rem, Ram, Rom. They all end in similar sounding but different ways. Well, Re isn't as fitting a fire as Z is to electricity, or Ki is to ice. Because again, that high I, sudden freezing sound effect, like magically freezing someone sound effect in video games and stuff, it's like... I think Reshiram's just going to be a great name. Meloetta. There's a lot of musical terms in here that are all just kind of overlapping to a point where I think it just works. It's a melody, obviously. To pirouette is to spin around. There's like arietta, which is a feminine dance. Either way, ending with etta is a way a lot of words and names will signify something is small and feminine. And genesect. It is an insect. It's generated because it's like created by Team Plasma. Like it's not in its natural state. So it's sort of like they played around with genetics or its genome. It's born again. It's brand new. Its genesis has only recently happened. So that's a better name. That's good. And that is Gen 5. My SD card in the camera is... I have 30 seconds left before I have to stop recording. A whole new day. A bunch more names for me to rank. Maybe this reticate, actuate, does a stink. I've been thinking. It's been a couple days. I've had some regrets regarding these. Like Venusaur. I know I liked the educational value because Venus and all that. But again, not a dinosaur. Better than mini, but flawed. I guess the flaw is that it's not a dinosaur, but that feels like a pretty big one. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down here with its buds. Thank you. Ivysaur might actually go down a rank because like, there's nothing Ivy about it. I had other ideas like just last night about rearranging these, but now I can't remember them, so I guess those weren't that important. So we continue with Gen 6, Chespin. Honestly, while it sounds fun, I think it's a bit confusing, cause like, it's a chestnut. Is it really I guess it has chestnut inspired armor? It doesn't explain what the animal is. It has pins like a chestnut, but like it's not, I don't know. It feels confusing to me. Quilladin, a paladin with quills. See, that's better. It works. And chestnut. See, it's not a chestnut. Okay, it doesn't explain the animal. Like if you know what a dreadnought is, it explains like its armor and all that. It's got chestnut armor. It works. I'm not a fan of it, but it works. Fennekin, a fennec fox. That's a kit, and it has kin and kindling. Honestly, real good. That's a good name. Brazian, or is it Braxian? I've heard at least 4 different pronunciations of this name, which does dock at some points. Cool that it has an X. Bonus points for the X factor. Oh, but the X factor's so cool because the X comes from fox. So like, Delphox. Say what you will of the Pokemon, but like, how many people know about Delphic oracles now because of this Pokemon, right? That's really cool. And it's a fox one, so it's definitely better than many. I wouldn't say Brazian. Braxian. Yeah, I'm gonna bump it down. It works, but it's a little confusing with the pronunciation. Froakie. It's a frog. It croaks an E because it's small and yeah, it's uninspired. Frogadier. I actually kind of hate this name. Like, no joke. Frogadier. It doesn't sound good. Frogadier. Yeah, you see that deer over there? I have this frog. I'm gonna frog that deer. Ribbit. I couldn't remember what sound deer make. Oink. That's not right. And Greninja. Interesting things with Greninja. Because like, so remember Frogadier, because it's a grenadier. So you'd think, oh, Grenadier, Greninja, so Greninja must be a grenadier. I guess you could say a ninja is like a grenadier in that they have smoke grenades. But like, No, it's grenouille, French word. I mean, it's frog in French. It's gren vowels, and then it's a ninja, Greninja instead of The only flaw I'd say is the word ninja being there completely. Like, it's a little off-putting, but it works. And because of the rest of it, it bumps it up just a little bit. It's a little better than it works. Yeah. Bunnelby. So let's do Diggersby first, actually, because it's just bad. That's an easy one. Why Diggersby? Okay, it digs. Its ears are like excavators, aka diggers, if you're 4. But why does it still end with B? Like, at least with Bunnelby, you could say because it's a baby bunny, you know, with Bunnelby, baby bunny, digs tunnels, Bunnel. Yeah, so like, I'd say Bunnelby works. Diggersby what? Oh boy, here we go. Fletchling. Honestly, really smart, right? Because the whole line has like a bow and arrow kind of motif going on with the fletches, the fletching on arrows, the feather part at the end. And you know, medieval warfare, you'd sometimes light the ends of the arrows on fire, fitting of its fire type. It's not fire yet, I think it's just normal flying, but still. And along with Fletchinder, like, it's a fletchling, which is what you call an adolescent bird. Sometimes a baby bird could be called a fletchling. It's basically when a bird is in its in-between stage, you know, like an awkward teenager. They got their adult feathers and they got baby feathers left over still. It's a fletchling. I mean fledgling. It's one letter difference, but it works for these guys. But then you get Talonflame. Was Talonflame in my examples at the beginning? It's been like a week since I recorded that. Think so. As a bad example, because I do not like the name. It sounds like a warrior's cat OC and not in any of the good ways. Talonflame. It is 2 words next to each other. And I thought that that was it for the longest time. I more recently, as in still like a couple years ago, was made aware of the word inflame. To inflame something is to light it on fire. So it's not Talonflame next to each other. It's Talon and Flame. So there is a play on words there. I'll give them that. So it's not going in it's just bad. It's going in confusing or uninspired, because at the end of the day, it does still sound like it's just 2 nouns next to each other, not overlapping at all. You have to know a little bit of word stuff. Scatterbug. It sounds really cute, really small. And like, you understand scatterbug because it scatters its scales all over the place. Does it? That is a moth thing. It's a caterpillar right now. I guess catterbug, scatter, just because of the It's a little confusing. Significantly better than Talonflame right next to it, but so I guess if Talonflame is like bottom D tier, Scatterbug's upper D tier. Spupa. Really love this name, honestly. It's a pupa and it spews. I mean, at the end of the day, it just works. It just sounds so fun. You know what? The sound alone is enough to bump it up a tier. The flaw here is that that's it. It's spew and pupa, you know. Vivillon is fun because it's vivid, and papillon is French for butterfly. So it's educational. Got a little educational value in there. It works. Litleo is a little lion, or a Leo, that is lit. It's got a little flame on its head. So it works. Yeah? Pyroar. Everyone knows lions roar. There's a whole movie company about it, even though they use the roar of a tiger. But in the popular collective subconscious, because of that, lions are famous for their big roars, even though they actually sound like this. And then that's why the movie company used a tiger roar. Pyroar, its roars are pyro, they're fire. Labebe, Floette, and Florges. All of them mix flower, but like not the O. I guess Floette has the O, but like if you write out how flower is pronounced in some accents and dialects, it does sound like it could be spelled with an A instead of an O. Flower. And then bebe is French for baby because it is a little baby. I would say this is a really good one. It's better. Floette. I'd say this works. It works. And Florges, a gorgeous flower or flora. Gorgeous flora. This is tricky. I forgot. It's been a couple days, so I forgot how tricky this actually is to put them in the tier list. Because like so many of them are like borderline, you know? Tier lists are fun. I understand them now. I've never done one before, but I get it now. Skiddo. It's just bad. And you skid around on it. It's a kid, which is a baby goat. I just don't like the official pronunciation. Skidoo. I guess like a ski-doo, which is a vehicle you ride around on. Like, you can ride on these, but ski-doo. Skidoo! No, go-goat. Actually, pretty good. It more than works. It's better than mini. Because like a go-go bike is a kind of bike. When you ride it, you say, go, goat, and the goat goes. It's a goat. Pancham is tricky, actually, because, so it's a panda, and is it a champ? You'd think that means it's a champion, but it's not the fully evolved one. There's nothing champion about it. But consider, so like it's just fighting type, but you evolve it by having it be friends with a dark type as like a bad influence on him. It asks the dark type, oh, what should I do? And the dark type says, punch him. Punch him. Pancham. 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 Punch him. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Little fun in there. Pangoro, it's a panda, and Goro is a Japanese onomatopoeia of like a rumbling sound, which I guess it kind of does. But more fittingly is Gorotsuki is like a mean rogue ruffian in Japanese. Think like Goro Majima, you know? If you know, you know. Ultimately though, it just kind of works. Furfru is actually pretty fun because it's a poodle, so its fur is very frou-frou, which is a more French term for like fancy and over the top, kind of needlessly. It's frou-frou. It's sillily elegant. Esper, I really like the name of. Same with Espeon. Why did I put Espeon? It should just be the same tier that Espeon is. Maybe one higher. Where is Espeon? There's Espeon, a great name. Similarly, a great name. Because again, ESP is the scientific acronym for extrasensory perception, basically psychic powers. And it's a cat, so it purrs. Esper. Meowstick. I am just a sucker for cat puns, I guess. It's a mystic that meows. Meowstick. Simple, but works real fun. Where's my little Meowstick? Here's my little Meowstick. I just woke her up. Do you have anything to say? Sasha, you can't say that. That's a slur. Immediately back to where she was. Exact position. Honage and Doublade. I have heard people mispronounce it as Honage a couple times. It's not Honage. It's Honage. Unless it is, and I'm the wrong one, in which case that's a bad name. But like, it's a blade, you hone the edge of it. It works. Doublade, it's a double blade. Simple, but works. Aegislash. Really cool sounding name for a kind of silly idea of a Pokemon, but it works. And it's even better for that tiny bit of educational value. Aegis was a mythically powerful shield from Greek mythology, if memory serves me. And since it's the one that has a shield now, makes sense that it would incorporate shield in the name, but it still has sword body, so slash, Aegislash, Spritzy. I think at the end of the day, it works. It's a sprite, or a fairy, or a fee, which is just fairy in French. No, German? Dutch. One of those. And while it isn't super obvious that it's supposed to be like a perfume bottle puff thing, perfume, you spritz it. Spritz, spritzy. You know, I could actually bump this up, I think. It's got a lot of, yeah, it's got a lot of overlap with its ideas and thoughts. Aromatisse, however, it's an aromatisse. Is that even how you pronounce it? I honestly don't know. But it's going to aromatize you with its aroma. And look at that, look at what it's doing with its little leg. Leggy out, ooh, super high cut dress. Ooh, fancy, sexy. What a little tease. A little tease. It works, I suppose. Swirlix, so interesting thing here. I'm gonna put it in it works for now, and same with Slurpuff. Honestly, I feel like Swirlix should be named Slurpuff, right? Because it's literally a puff. It's a cotton candy dog. It is a puff of sugary fur, right? It should be Slurpuff. But Swirlix works because he licks you and you make cotton candy by swirling the stick around the cotton candy machine in like a helix formation. Swirlix, helix. I wish there was something in the name that implied sweet or dog. And Slurpuff over here, Slurpuff's the one saying slurs. And it's a puff, like a cream-filled pastry. Like a Pokepuff. I think actually is X and Y is the game that introduced Pokepuffs, right? So in a way, it's like the mascot Pokepuff. That's fun. I didn't even think of that until now. And also, if you kind of say it fast enough, it's like slurp up, right? I'm gonna slurp up. Tasty. Slurp up. Slurp puff. Yeah, I'll bump it up. I'm gonna bump it up. Yeah. Inkay is okay. It's inky. Why is it named Inkay? Ultimately, I think it's gonna go in uninspired or confusing. So like, it's inky because squid ink, I get that. Why is it okay? And I know that the point is that it's inky and okay because its Japanese name, it combines like bad squid and, well, whatever, you know, like, okay. Sure. Why though? What are your Pokedex entries? It lights up, it hides, it confuses its opponents with flashing lights. It lights up, it runs away. Nothing. Malamar though. Malamar just sounds like a villain name, and it has those villain vibes on purpose. Mal means bad. It's calamari, so it's Malamar. Bad calamari. Honestly, it's pretty good. Actually, it's a great name. Malamar. You couldn't really get much better than Malamar for this kind of guy, right? Especially given the big, like, M-shaped motif that it, and especially its new Mega Evolution, have. Because, like, superheroes and supervillains always have, like, a big letter insignia, so you repeat that M sound because it's super important to it. Malamar. Binacle, or is it Binnacle? I don't think I actually know. I did a whole video on this, and a lot of it was about the name, because like, I found out that a binnacle, but spelled with an extra N, or one less N, one of those, is actually a thing in ships, and like it fits real well. So not only is it a barnacle that has two heads, so bi, but it's also literally a binnacle with a different N. It's honestly, even with the pronunciation issue, it is a great name. It is better than many. I just mixed two tiers. It would be a great name if not for a lot of people not knowing the official pronunciation, which I don't even right now. I'd have to look it up again. Barbaracle? Honestly, same. I don't even remember why. In the video we had dedicated to it, I explained that it's like, at the end of the day, when you mix all of its origins into a single sentence, it's like it's a bar saying barbarian barnacle that does things. You know, I think I'm gonna, yeah. Those are about the design, those aren't about the name. Skrelp, a scrawny little kelp thing. Yeah, it works. I do like that the name doesn't mention that it's a seahorse or a sea dragon at all, because it's specifically the kind that tries to disguise themselves to look like kelp. So the name just being scrawny kelp, it's like, yeah, that's not what it is, but that's what it's trying to be. Honestly, real fun. I'm gonna bump it up a tier because of how fun that is. Dragalge or Dragalge, that one honestly is just up to the ways different people pronounce algae or algae. That's an accent thing. I think that's also going to be up here because like it's a sea dragon, so drag, and algae or algae, kelp is, if I'm remembering right, it is part of the same species family that algae or algae is. And so like Skrelp before it, trying to disguise itself as that, it's dragging algae around to better hide itself. Dragalge, a great name. Same with you. That's real good. Clauncher, it uses its big claw as a launcher of water. I guess it works. And Clowitzer. How many kids know what a howitzer is thanks to this Pokemon, right? Like, you ask your dad, "Hey dad, what's a howitzer?" Dad's gonna be all like, "What are you reading, son?" So I'm gonna move it up. Helioptile and Heliolisk. Something about those names don't vibe with me. Helioptile? Like, I get it, because Helios is Greek for sun, and these are like solar-powered reptiles. Because, you know, reptiles hang out under the sun because they like the warmth, but then they took it to an extreme and they're like, oh, it charges up like a solar panel. And so yeah, it's a reptile that's sun-powered. Helioptile. It just doesn't sound good. Helioptile. No, it's just bad. Heliolisk, a little better sounding. You know, it's a basilisk lizard, so Heliolisk. I still think it's bad, especially if you know that helio means sun. You'd think sun, that means fire, or heat, or steel psychic, like Solgaleo. But no, it's a stinking monoelectric lizard. Bad. Tyrant. It's a tyrant that is a little baby runt. It's like Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. is a tyrant. Yeah, that's a good name. In fact, it's a great name. Tyrantrum. It sounds stronger and it's a bigger word. And like tantrum, surely kids know the word tantrum. Because of that, they immediately understand, oh, it's a big, mean lizard. It's having a tantrum all the time. And then they learn about the tyrant word because it's a big tyrant and it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, layers. Layers are what makes a great name. Amara and Aurorus. A lot of people don't know how to pronounce Amara, and I didn't for the longest time either. I still might not be pronouncing it right, but it's like supposed to be an Aurora-saurus, basically. I'm gonna bump it down one for the pronunciation issues. And also like Amara, that I imagine you could give that to a psychic type and that would work. Amara. There's probably a lot of different Pokemon ideas that the name Amara would work for. Aurorus, at least, you know, Aurora and Saurus, you know? It's a name that works. Sylveon. Sylph, as in like a magical wind fairy. It's not flying type though, it's fairy type, so bump it down a tier for that. Where did I put the other EVs? Yeah, it works. I think ultimately that's where Sylveon's gonna have to go too. It works, but a low it works. Because Sylveon, Sylph, that's more to do with wind magic than magic, but it's still magic, so it works. Hawlucha, it's a luchador hawk. It works. Dedenne is another Pikachu clone, so the name pulls a lot from Japanese. And in this case, it's Denki, which is Japanese for electricity, and Yamane, which I don't remember, it's mouse, but it's a specific kind of mouse. But yeah, and then antenna, because antennae would be the plural. Ultimately, it's pretty good. It's better than many. I would say the only flaw is a bit of pronunciation confusion. I've heard people say Dedenne, I've heard people say Dedenna, I've heard people say Deden, but I have never heard someone pronounce carbink wrong. Not to say that you can't if you really tried, but it's carbon bink, carbink. Carbink. It's not ink. It doesn't stink. Clink? Like the sound of when you mine out the gems from the rock. Why is it named Carbink? For the first time in Gen 6, we're looking it up on Bulbapedia. Carbon, carrot, and tink, to tinkle. Okay, to tinkle. You having a little wee? I guess in a lot of media, gemstones will like shine and like make sounds, even though that's not how light works. We're like ding 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 ding, you know. Goomy, Sligoo, and Goodra. What do we got here? Goomy is goo, slimy, it's gooey, the name sounds cute, it works. Sligoo, kind of like a slick goo or a slug goo, because it's like a sluggy snail thing. I'm gonna bump that up one tier from it works. And Goodra, the goo dragon, it's a good dragon. It's a good dragon. You compare this dragon to basically every other pseudo-legendary or every other fully evolved dragon Pokemon besides maybe Dragonite, and it's much kinder, it's much more loving and good-natured. So just because of that one little extra bit, it's gonna get bumped up. Klefki though. Klefki, not a fan of the Pokemon, but like beyond perfect name, all right? Because it's got keys, right? It's a kleptomaniac, it steals the keys. Clef, as in the music symbol, it kind of looks like a music symbol, but then you remember, wait, cleft lips are a thing. Most common in babies because they fix it pretty shortly after birth, where like the nostril and the mouth are connected as one big hole, shaped like a keyhole, like it literally has a cleft lip. And on top of all that, Clef is also just French for key, and it's a French Pokemon, lives in France, so good. Perfect, beyond perfect Pokemon name. Phantump is also really good. It's simple, but there's such an overlap between Phantom and Tree Stump. Phantump, that is a great name. Trevenant, also pretty good. It's a tree, it's a revenant. It's one of those ghost types that have like a big scary sounding word because it's supposed to be big and scary. That's a great name. Pumpkaboo, it says peekaboo because it's spooky. It's a jack-o'-lantern. It's a pumpkin, so Pumpkaboo. That one's tricky though. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's better than many. Gorgeist or Gorgeist, the pronunciation here isn't the Pokemon's fault. It's because that word itself is pronounced differently depending on your accent. I think it just works. It's a gourd and it's a poltergeist. Bergmite, it's a little mite, not bug type, but it's a little mite, that's a little iceberg. It works. Avalugg, it's lugging things around because it carries things on its back. Avalanche, obviously, because it is big snow ice monster. Avalanche works. Avalugg, I guess C tier works because it just works. There's not much to it. Noibat, it's a bat that makes noise. You could give that name to any of the other bat Pokemon, but at least it makes more noise than the other bats. Noivern, it's a wyvern that makes noise. It works. Gen 6 Legends. The legendaries always get judged a little more harshly because their names gotta be really cool. And really cool they are, right? So remember, the games are Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, and then the planned but canceled Pokemon Z. So fittingly, their names include an X, a Y, and a Z. And ultimately, Xerneas is a little on the simpler side, but still really cool. It's going to go into a great name. So it's X, but then it's based on the god Cernunnos. So Cernunnos with an X, Xerneas. You can see how that developed. But then also Servus or Servus. I'm gonna have to look it up. Yes, deer in Latin is Servus. So Xerneas, service. Yeah, you got it. Great name. Yveltal does have a bit of a pronunciation issue. I've heard a lot of different pronunciations for it, but there are overlapping themes. Firstly, Yvette, Y-V-E-T-T-E? Yes, that is a name. A French name, in fact. Cool. But also remember, this Pokemon is like the Pokemon of death or destruction. It's mean, it's evil. Evil. Yveltal. In fact, Y-V-E-L is an older English spelling of evil. And not only does it have the regular bird talons, but the ends of its wings and even the end of its tail have like these big, mean-looking talons. Evil talons. Yveltal. Talon. Tall. I'm gonna bump it up. This is a beyond perfect name. And Zygarde, the guardian of the ecosystem, of the world, of balance, order between the two. The thing to remember is this trio, while based in Kalos, France, they're inspired by Norse god things. And in Norse, Gard, I'm definitely mispronouncing that, it means realm or world. It's the guardian of the world. It's both definitions of guard layered on top like that. Real cool. And also remember, you collect them as little cells, little zygotes, right? And then the cells all come together to form the 10%, 50%, and 100% forms. Beyond perfect name. Genius name, even. Definitely the same tier as Slackoff. This is ridiculous. Diancie? It's a diamond pixie. Diancie. It's fancy. Got a fancy little dress. Yeah, it's a pretty great name. Hoopa ultimately is pretty simple for a legendary, or is it mythical? I don't remember, but the name is pretty simple for being that, because like it has a hoopla with an L in it. It means something loud and attention grabbing, which is literally its personality in the anime. You know what? I think it just works. Yeah. And Vol Canyon, little weird. I think it might be just it works. So like it's fire water type. It's a volcano or volcanic canyon. Canyons are formed by water. So, okay. Canyon is Spanish for cannon. So the water cannons on its back that shoot the water that's superheated. Yeah, it works. Some say that there's lion in there because it vaguely resembles like the statues of lions in Chinese and Japanese places, a Fu lion. So I guess there are some overlapping meanings, so it'll be bumped up to better than many, but it's still flawed in that it's not as well thought out as most other legendary and mythical names, I feel. Okay, Gen 7. Next time.